Hi, I'm Tony Parsnott, and I'm a project manager at Technology Services Group, a Chicago-based IT consulting firm. In this video, I'm going to be comparing 4 different out-of-the-box solutions for performing search against the Documentum repository. In a lot of Documentum implementations, the overall usability of the search and retrieve functionality within the user interface really plays a key role in the overall user acceptance of the system. Search is really important in systems where consumers make up a large percentage of the user base. By consumers, I mean users that primarily use the system just to search and retrieve documents, rather than more like other power users who might use the system for workflow functionality or authoring, checking in and checking out documents. I'm going to be demonstrating the search capabilities of 4 different client interfaces running on Documentum. These interfaces are Documentum Webtop, which is built on the Documentum Web Development Kit, or WDK. I'll also be showing D2, which is the latest client application released by EMC. I'll also show HPI, or High Performance Interface, which is an open source offering that's available from Technology Services Group. And finally, I'll show Documentum Taskbase, which is an EMC client that's configured using the Accelerated Composition Platform, or XCP. One thing to note about all the applications that I'm going to be showing is that all the functionality was achieved through configuration, so there was no customization or coding done to achieve any of the functionality. For each of the 4 applications, I'll be demonstrating the similarities and differences in the processes for executing a search, refining a search once an initial search has been executed. I'll show some of the features of the search results panels in each application, as well as the process for viewing content from the search results panel. Let's go ahead and get started with executing a search. For each of the applications, I'll be querying a repository that contains standard operating procedure documents. For each application, I'll search for SOPs where the site is Chicago and the approval date is in 2008 or 2009. So now I'll go ahead and get started with Webtop. I'll log into the system here. Search is initiated in Webtop from the upper left-hand corner of the screen. You just click the down arrow and click on Advanced Search. Here I see the Advanced Search screen. Webtop doesn't have any pre-configured search forms, so you have to build every search from scratch. And building a search involves specifying your document type and then adding each property that you want to search on individually. So I'll go ahead and select my doc type. You'll see that the drop-down is populated with every document type in the system, which can kind of be a lengthy list. I'll find standard operating procedure and select it. From here, I'll begin specifying my metadata criteria. So I'll specify that I want to search on site. Since site is a value-assisted property, I'll be able to choose from a drop-down list of sites as opposed to having to enter that as free-form text, which is a nice feature. From there, I'll move on to specifying the approval date. Since I want all dates between 2008 and 2009, I'll utilize the calendar control. Unfortunately, in Webtop, there's no good way to skip years on the calendar control, so I'll go ahead and select January 1st, 2011, and then just modify the date manually by typing. So then I'll select the lower bound date of December 31st, 2009. Again, I'll just select 2011 and modify accordingly. So now my search is configured. I've built that and can execute the search. After a couple of seconds, my search results are returned and I see them in the search results panel. So now moving on to D2, and in D2 you'll notice a lot of similarities in the build a search functionality that's available in Webtop. So we'll go ahead and get logged in. In D2, the search functionality is available in the upper right-hand corner of the screen by clicking the magnifying glass for advanced search. From here, very similar to Webtop, the search criteria panel pops up. And from here, you'll see your first difference from Webtop is obviously you still need to select the document type that you want to search on, but the document types can be limited by the administrator. So in this case, I've configured D2 to only allow searching on the standard operating procedures document type, which allows me to select that type without having to pick from an entire list. Similarly, the properties that I'm searching on can be narrowed down as well, so I don't have to include every single property that's available for that document type. So I'll go ahead and start by selecting the site attribute. I'll need to set my condition I want site equal to, and then because this is a value assisted property, D2 also provides the ability to have drop-down lists within the search. I'll choose Chicago. And then for my approval date, I'll actually need to create two search criterion. One for approval date greater than or equal to a specific date, and another for less than, so that I can do the between date functionality that I desire. So we'll start with approval date greater than, and then I'll specify my lower bound. The calendar control in D2 lets you skip years, which is a lot more handy than Webtop. So I'll choose my lower bound as January 1st, 2008. I'll choose the operator of AND because I want all of my criteria to be ANDed together. And then I'll go ahead and pick approval date again and specify my lower bound using the calendar control. Specify that as December 31st of 2009. So that's the process for building the search in D2. Again, very similar to Webtop, and a lot of clicks to get to the type of search that the user needs to do. I'll go ahead and run my search, and within a couple of seconds, I'll see search results in the search results panel. So to quickly recap before moving on to HPI, both D2 and Documentum Webtop have a lot of functionality built into their advanced searches. So basically a user could search on any attribute in any way that they want. However, even for very simple searches, you may have noticed that it takes a lot of time to actually build the search, which can be problematic for users who do a lot of searching. So now I'll go ahead and get started demonstrating HPI search. I'll go ahead and get logged into the application. HPI is a much more search-driven application than Webtop or D2, so you'll see actually on my screen that the search criteria display right away. I don't have to click on a search link or anything, they automatically display. HPI also has a concept of a search form, so I don't have to manually build my search attribute by attribute. I can just enter information into the search form that's already pre-configured for the document types. In this example, I have search forms configured for all documents, which contains a list of attributes for a generic search like creation date and document ID. And I've also configured search form for the standard operating procedure type, which is what I'm going to search on. So I'll go ahead and select my type. From here I see all of the type specific attributes, which also include some of the standard attributes of all documents. From here I have a value assisted drop down for some of my attributes, including the site, so I'll go ahead and select Chicago. From here I don't currently have the approval date on my screen, but HPI has the ability to configure an advanced search, which allows you to show and hide additional search attributes that may or may not be used very often. The date control in HPI allows searching for dates between certain calendar dates, and the calendar feature allows you to very easily select a month from a drop-down list in a year and then select the date. So I'll go ahead and select my upper and lower bounds of January 1st, 2008 and my lower bound of December 31st of 2009. So now I'm ready to go ahead and execute my search, and I'll click the search button. Within a couple of seconds, my results will display on the right-hand side of the screen, and notice that my criteria remain on the left. So now I'll go ahead and move on to Taskbase, which has a very similar search functionality to HPI. We'll go ahead and get logged into the system. So here, once again, we'll see more of a search form rather than building a search type functionality. Here I've configured search forms for all documents and for standard operating procedures, just like I did in HPI, but I could configure additional types if I wanted to. Once I choose standard operating procedure, I'll see my type-specific attributes that I want to search on. Again, I'll pick the site as Chicago. Searching dates in Taskbase is a little bit different in that I have separate controls for dates before and dates after. So I'll go ahead and configure or select my lower bound date for the approval date that I want to search on. The calendar control in Taskbase is similar to Webtop in that you can't really skip years, so I'll go ahead and select the year 2011 and update the year manually by typing. Once all my criteria are configured, I can click the search button. And similar to HPI, my search criteria and search results display on the same screen. So you'll see at the bottom, my search results are displayed. So while I'm on the topic of search forms, I'll actually jump back to D2 quickly and demonstrate that D2 does have some functionality built in for search forms. However, unlike HPI and Taskbase, the search form functionality is kind of limited. Currently, there's no way to search on optional date fields or add full text fields to the search form. So I'll only show the D2 search form this one time. Basically, I can configure text fields and drop downs. And then similar to the other search forms in the other applications, I can choose my search criteria. I'll go ahead and select Chicago. And since dates are not supported currently as optional fields, I'll just go ahead and run my search. So this demonstrates D2 does have built-in search forms, but the functionality is kind of limited. So now we'll move on to our second topic of the process of refining a search. Starting with Webtop, to refine the search, you actually continue just like you were wanting to execute a search from scratch and select the advanced search box. In Webtop, the search criteria and results display in different windows, and while the search criteria are open, I actually can't get back to my results until I close this window. So I'll go ahead and refine my search. Again, this is the build a search type functionality where I have to specify my attributes individually and add them. So I'll go ahead and add a product search. I'll search for the product Capacam as part of my search as well. Click the search button and you'll see that my search results are narrowed down to now 4 results rather than the longer list that I had before. Similarly, in D2, you refine the search by, again, clicking on the advanced search button. Similar to Webtop, the search criteria pop open in a separate window, so I can't return to my search results to see them until I close or rerun a search in the search criteria window. I'll go ahead and add the same criteria in D2. I'll select product, again, a value assisted attribute, so I do get a drop-down list. And I'll select Capacam. Again, this is the build a search type functionality where I have to add attributes individually, run my search, and within a couple of seconds, you'll see that my search is refined down to 4 results. In HPI now, you'll remember the search criteria and results display on the same page. So refining this search is actually very simple. I see I already have the product attribute available on my screen. I'll just select Capacam from here, re-execute my search so I'm not bouncing between screens, and you'll see that my results display very quickly on the right-hand side. One of the features of HPI is that I can click the link here if I want to see my results in a larger window. I can hide my search criteria and bring them back if I want by clicking on the arrow again, for real estate purposes. Similarly, in Taskbase, we'll move over there now. My criteria and results display on the same screen, so refining my search is very simple. After executing my first search, I can refine by selecting now Capacam as my product, clicking search, and very quickly my results are narrowed down. So to quickly recap, refining a search is quite a bit faster in HPI and Taskbase in that you can very quickly modify your search criteria and re-execute the search without flip-flopping between windows. With that now, I'll move on to our third topic of describing some of the features of the search results panels in each of the applications. Starting with Webtop, you'll see that if I click on the column headers in the search results panel in Webtop, I can sort my search results based on the attributes in ascending, or if I click it again, I can sort my results in descending order. Webtop also has limited capabilities in configuring the attributes that are displayed in the search results. So I can easily remove some of the attributes and add additional ones. Unfortunately, in Webtop, without customization, I can't add any of my attributes of my custom document types. So I'm only limited to attributes of the base DM document type that I can add in my search results. Unfortunately, also, when I try to re-execute a search, my search preferences are not saved. So after modifying my columns, if I come back in and execute another search, even if it's the same search, you'll see that my column preferences are reverted back to their original values. Webtop does offer the ability to export your search results to a CSV file through a menu option. And now, moving along to D2, we have similar functionality in that I can click on the column headers to sort them in both ascending and descending order. One of the nice features of D2 is that I can also apply filters to my search results. So in this case, if I wanted to filter my results and only show results that have the name of the document starting with SOP 2008, I can very quickly do that, and my search results are filtered. Also available in D2, I can configure my search results columns very easily. I do have to go back to my advanced search screen and click on the display settings. From here, I'm giving a list of attributes that are configurable by an admin, and they actually do include custom attributes for the custom document types that I've searched on. So I can add attributes like the approval date and product that were not available in Webtop because they were custom attributes. So I can choose those in whatever order I want, and then it actually requires me to re-execute my search. But then you'll see that my search results now have the approval date and product columns available to me. D2 also supports an export to Excel from the menu item. Now moving on to HPI. HPI also supports column sorting by clicking on the column headers. I can also click a button to very easily show and hide certain attributes from my search results. Also, I can drag and drop the columns so that I can display them in any order that I choose. One other nice feature of HPI is once I've sorted or changed the order of my search columns or changed which ones are shown and hidden, once I re-execute my search, my column preferences stay, so I don't have to change them again. HPI also supports export to Excel by clicking on the button in the upper right-hand corner. Now moving along to Taskbase. Functionality in Taskbase for the search results is fairly limited. I do have the ability to click on my search results columns to sort them in both ascending and descending order. However, I'm not able to add or remove columns from my search results or reorder them. You do see that I have custom attributes displaying in my search results, but these columns are only configurable by an admin. Once again, Taskbase does support a right-click menu to export search results to CSV. So now I'll move on to the final topic of demonstrating how content can be viewed from the search results screen in each of the applications. Starting with Webtop, you'll see I have one of my SOPs that has a Word as its native content, but it also has a PDF rendition. So in Webtop, you double-click to actually view the document. And you'll see for this Word document, it actually launches Word with the document in Microsoft Word. Now, for a lot of viewers, they actually want to view the PDF and not the Word document because they don't really need to edit the document, they just want to read it. In Webtop, by default, to get to the PDF content, you have to right-click and select the menu option to view renditions. And from this screen, I can double-click and view the PDF. So there are some additional steps in Webtop for getting to the PDF if the native content is not PDF. So you'll see my PDF displays after I click on it from the view renditions. Moving on to D2, the nice thing about D2 is even if the document is Word in its native format, if I double click on it and it has a PDF rendition, the PDF rendition will display automatically. Now similarly in HPI, my first search result is the one that has a Word document with PDF rendition. HPI by configuration automatically recognizes that a PDF exists. When I click on my search results in a new browser window, I'm actually launched into the PDF version of the document. And with that, we'll go ahead and move along to Taskbase. Taskbase is fairly similar to Webtop in that if the primary rendition of the document is Word, if I double-clicked on it, it would open the document in Word. To get to the PDF rendition, I have to right-click on the document, click the Show Renditions menu option, which gives me the list of renditions, including the Word and the PDF. And then to view the PDF, I have to right-click on the PDF and choose the View option, which will launch the PDF in a new browser window. Taskbase, however, does have a nice feature in that if the PDF is the native content, not the rendition, I can actually view the PDF document by clicking on the arrow in the upper right-hand corner, and then the PDF is displayed directly in the right-hand panel of the screen without viewing in a new window. Unfortunately, for documents that are not PDF in their native content, you have to have additional viewing applications installed and licensed in order to be able to utilize this right panel functionality in Taskbase. So just to wrap things up a little bit, hopefully this video has shed some light on some of the search functionality that's available in some of the Documentum front-end web interfaces, including Documentum Webtop, Documentum D2, TSG's high-performance interface, and also Documentum Taskbase. If you'd like more information, feel free to visit our website at www.tsgrp.com and read our blog at blog.tsgrp.com. Thanks.